Hello and welcome to this short video on Photoshop image editing techniques. My name's Barry Beckham. Being a fan of landscape and seascape photography, I do love using my wide-angle lens. I like it because it helps me to create a feeling of depth within my images. It's that feeling that we're looking into a scene rather than at a flat 2D picture. What I don't like very much is how the very same lens can sometimes distort certain aspects of the landscape or seascape. Here's an example from Mooloolaba on the Sunshine Coast of Australia. The headland in the distance is a landmark, and anyone who visits the area will instantly recognise almost where this picture was taken from. But look how my 15mm lens has made the lighthouse and buildings lean inwards. Now I don't like that at all, but here's a quick fix for this in Photoshop. Let's make a start by zooming in, holding the control key and the spacebar. The zoom tool appears and I can click and drag. Holding the spacebar, I can click and move. So that's the area we're going to affect. Going over to the selection tools on the left hand side, I'm going to pick up my lasso tool and I'm going to draw a lasso shape around the area that I want to affect. You can see it doesn't take any skill at all, just go around the outer edge. From the top of the screen, I'm going to go to select and mask. We need to put a degree of feather into the edge of that selection. Now, how much feather you put into that selection is going to depend on the resolution of your image, but you can see the softness here. Maybe I'll pick a little more, but I don't think we need too much. Let's click OK, but I'm going to output this to a selection. There it is there. And once I've done that, I'm going to hit Control J. Control J will copy what's within that selection to a new blank layer, and there we can see it on the right up at the top. If I just turn off my background layer, there you can see the little patch that we're going to be dealing with, but we do need the image turned on. Now we do have a tool within Photoshop which we can find in the edit menu, top left, which is called Perspective Warp. But I found this tool a little bit unsuitable, although it can be made to work in this situation. What I tend to do is just go for my free transform tool and I warp that. Let me demonstrate. Control T will bring up the free transform, but you'll find that in your edit menu. And there you can see the bounding box around the patch that I created. But at the top of the screen, we've got an option to warp this. And when I click on that, what I can do now is pick up the sides here and I can do a little bit of a fiddle and I can more or less straighten up first the lighthouse on the headland. You can see it takes a little bit of a fiddle. Be careful you don't lose the edge of the water. All you need to do is to come down a little bit, or maybe this one, just drop it down a little bit. We're never going to get this absolutely perfect. All we're trying to do is to take away the worst of that lean. Let's have a look. Let's go into the middle of this because we can click and drag there too. So I can straighten the buildings up. I think you're probably getting the idea of this. And once I feel I've got this as close as I'm going to get it, bear in mind it's a small detail but an important one. Looking at the edges just to make sure we're okay, then hit the Enter key. And there we have the repair. I'll hit Control 0 and it's certainly miles better than it was before we started. If I move my cursor up to layer 1, I can just turn that layer off and on, and you can take a look at the headland in a distance on the image and you can see the difference we've made. I'm sure if I spent another minute with that, I could have maybe improved it even more, but you get the idea. It's pretty quick and easy to do, and it does make a significant difference. The success of image editing is often the result of a number of small changes. Each change may not be significant on its own, but when we add them all up, we do sometimes see an enormous change to the image. And I think this little tip is just one of those changes.